Hello and welcome to yet another episode of an English guy watching wrestling. I'm an English guy. I'm Nick. Thank you so much for clicking on another video. I really do appreciate it. And in this one, we're going to be reviewing the very first brackets of the Japanese side of the AEW number one contenders women's tournament. The women's twice. But anyway, the winner of this tournament would be the number one contender for the AEW Women's Championship, currently held by Yoshida. Now, I will say this: two things. First off, I have no idea. No adjustment there. I've absolutely no idea when this event took place because I've been trying to find out online, and I know it happened recently. I think it may have happened on the 13th of February. But that being said, I'm not going to say it's a fact. but no, I like what AEW have done with this. Basically, they've taken 8 wrestlers, female wrestlers from North America, and 8 wrestlers from Japan. Now, I really like this idea because they were using the Joshi wrestling side from Japan. Now, I personally don't know a huge amount about the Joshi system in Japan. I know some of the wrestlers, but it's one of the very few female promotions in Japan I'm not too aware of. I know Stardom, and I know Sendai a little bit, but Joshi is not one I'm familiar with, apart from when I've seen him in AEW. So for AEW to be expanding like they have been with Impact Wrestling, New Japan, and now with Joshi system is great. You know, all working together, and that's exactly what it is. And the one thing about Japanese women's wrestling is they are a different breed, really. And that's not to knock any other female wrestler from anywhere else in the world, but in Japan, it is really taken seriously. And with 4 matches on the quarterfinals brackets, we got a chance to determine who would progress in the tournament. And some of the female wrestlers I'd seen before, some might not. But it was great to see this kind of thing happening, and I really wouldn't mind seeing it again. Of course, Yoshida is there in Japan, kind of overseeing things, shall we see? Because I think she graduated from the Joshi system. I apologise, but it's always great to see this kind of thing happening. More Japanese borders, shall we say, are opening up for working with North America with AEW, and of course, Joshi has done it before, and I want to see more of it because this was a really, really good example of what this tournament can be. And after a first great match on the North American side between Layla Hirsch and Thunder Rosa, I thought great start to the tournament, and it continued with the 4 matches that we had for the Joshi side of it. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Opening match. Now, before I get into the matches, if I mispronounce any of these names, I apologise, and I don't want to get it wrong. Even though I heard the names, it's difficult for me to pronounce some names sometimes. I will say that. So if I get these names wrong or I mispronounce it, I apologise. But that being said, let's carry on. First match was between Yuka Sakazaki and Mei Suruga. Now, Suruga I'd never seen before, but Yuka I had seen before in AEW a while back. I think first year of AEW, they were around then. She was on the very first AEW official pay-per-view. And Kenny Omega is a big fan of the Joshi system. He's worked with them before. Obviously, Riho, former AEW Women's Champion, part of that system too. And you can see where these Japanese women wrestlers know how to do it, because this was an excellent opening match. It really was. And having seen Stardom mostly, I'll say that, I know how Japanese female wrestlers can be. And this was a brilliant example of what wrestling could be. This was a fantastic way to open the Japanese side of it. Personally, I know Yuka. I've seen her before, and I know she's good. But May really impressed me in this match too. Even she's only been wrestling, I think, 2 years, but you've never guessed it, because I know the Joshi system, they train pretty much relentlessly, and it showed. This was an outstanding wrestling match, back and forth throughout the whole match, and it really was a pick-me of who would win. And that's the kind of thing you want to see in this kind of competition, because both female wrestlers are faces, I'll say that. And I really, really, really thought this was an exceptional wrestling match between 2 very, very talented female wrestlers. And I think the right person went through in Yuka, but not to say that May did not deserve the win as well, because she was great. And again, Yuka, I've seen her before. I know she's good. In this match, she was really good. And so was May. Great way to open the tournament on the Japanese side. So definitely 2 thumbs up for 2 terrific wrestlers. So great start. Next match was Emi Sakura, a female wrestler I know very well because I've seen her live many times in Pro Wrestling Eve. And by the way, the good folks in Pro Wrestling Eve see this. How you doing? They may not, but then again, you never know. And of course, Emi Sakura also not unfamiliar with AEW crowd. She's been there multiple times, and also I think she's one of the trainers at Joshi. And of course, a Japanese women wrestling legend has been doing it for so many years against a wrestler called Vainey, who I'd never seen before. And I would say this one, I think maybe not the tallest wrestler in the women's tournament, but I'd say 6 foot tall. And she's quite strong. I'll say that. But she moved like a cruiserweight, and again, this was a superb match. I never seen Vainey before, but I thought she was really, really good. And this was, I'd say, almost an example, a proving match for Vainey because of the way she did things. And for a female wrestler of her size, her height, to do standing shooting star press perfectly was great. But like I said, they train relentlessly in Joshi, so obviously everything they do with a purpose. This was a very good match. It wasn't as good as the first match, sorry, I'll say that. But not to say this match wasn't a great wrestling match too. More high flying, mainly from Vainey, because she has that kind of style a little bit. But of course, Emi Sakura, never really seen her fly that much, but she can wrestle. And if you've ever seen her, you know. This was a great, great match. And I think Emi Sakura, again, was perhaps the right person to go through. And because obviously she's familiar with AEW audiences. And this was another great example of what the Joshi system can do. And the veteran versus Vainey, who I'm not 100% sure has been in business that long. I honestly can't say. But she was great to watch too. And again, a great, great match. So definitely thumbs up for this one. Next match was... a bit closer, phone's a bit far away. Ryo Mizunami, if I'm pronouncing that correct, versus Meiki Ito. Now, Meiki, I'm pretty sure I've seen her before, and she's known to be hard-headed, but not full of themselves. But has got a head like a concrete, and she proved it in this match. And as weird it is to say, this was almost, in a strange way, a comedy match. But not to say there wasn't good wrestling, because there was. I think because Ryo used to be part of a female pop group in Japan, and I don't know if she still is. They're very, very popular, and she was playing like the "don't pick on me" attitude against Ryo, against Meiki, who's been around for quite some time. I think 17 years in the business, and this was a very unique match, but a match that was highly entertaining. And Meiki won this match, and I think it was the right choice because I think if she continues to do what she's doing, I think she's going to be one to watch in the tournament. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this one. So, I think, by the way, what I said earlier, so go back, that Yuka will face Emi Sakura in the next round. Yes, that's right. And Ryo will face the winner of the next match. We'll get to it. But so, Meiki will. But this was a lot of fun, this match, to be honest. I enjoyed it. And it was a bizarre comedy match in a strange way, but a fun match all the same. So, thumbs up. Which brings us to the main event. Japanese wrestling legend, another one, Aja Kong versus Rin Kadokura. Now, if you've ever seen Aja Kong, you know she is one of the hardest hitting female wrestlers ever. And she's been doing it for 30 plus years, and I've seen Aja Kong wrestle live, and to see her live was an honour, to be honest, because I've always liked Aja Kong. And I'd never seen Rin before, but I tell you what, she was great. This was a very good match. Going into the matchup, I knew Aja was going to be the favourite, and she honestly did win the match, to be completely honest. And to be honest twice. There you go. But she did win the match. But not to say that Rin did not make a great account of herself, because she really did. And I honestly thought she had a great performance against a legend who can go with the best of them. If you've ever seen Aja Kong, you know that. But this was definitely not a squash match. As I said, new Aja win. She got a lot of offensive, but not to say Rin did not. She did great. And it was a very, very good main event to top off a very good show. So, of course, Aja Kong will now face the winner of the last match, which to the semi-finals. Now, I'm not too sure when the next group of women's matches was going to happen. I think the next women's match from the American side is this week on Dynamite. I think, yes, Serena D versus Riho, actually. So, oh yes, that's going to be another good match. And then, I said this before, on the American side, I knew the female wrestlers that AEW picked, and I thought, great picks. They did the same on the Japanese side too. And it's great to see this kind of thing happen. And of course, eventually, whoever wins on perspective sides will meet. It's going to be a great match, and of course, get a chance to face with Yoshida. And this was again a fantastic example of what AEW can do. Reaching out to other people, but when they're reaching out to Japan, which wrestling is so good, and the Joshi system showed what they can do. Eventually, whoever wins the tournament is going to, on the American side, is going to meet the winner on the Japanese side. Whoever it's going to be, it's going to be a superb match, and I know both women are going to go out and knock out the park. And the final of the tournament is going to be at Revolution in the next AEW pay-per-view, which is March 7th, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm really enjoying the tournament so far, and if it continues like this, it's just going to be an absolute blast. So, thumbs up to all 8 women involved on the Japanese side, all 8 women involved on the American side, 16 overall. So, whoever's going to win, it's going to be worth it. So, definitely a thumbs up for this show, and really good. And might start watching Joshi. You never know. But that's it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you later on today, actually, because I'll be posting 2 videos today. I'll be reviewing Ring of Honor next. But until that time, wherever you are in the world, take care and bye-bye. Now I'll stop the video. Bye.